Hey everybody, this is my black ghost knifefish tank, and right now it looks like a green monster. The water in there is probably not too bad, the nitrates are probably getting up a little bit, but the green you're seeing is cyanobacteria. It's that nasty green slime that I just cannot get out of this tank. I'm not too bothered by it, I've just dealt with it for years. It just means I gotta get in there and wipe the glass down again. I've shown it in videos before. We'll see if we can see it in this one here if I get close enough. And you look way in the back and you look like up on the tip of the pieces of woodwork and you look on the tips of some of the Java fern, you'll see that long, strandy, flowy green stuff. Some of that is indeed algae. It is green filamentous algae, commonly called maiden's hair algae. It's actually a Spirogyra algae. And a lot of the green you see in here is just that awful green slime cyanobacteria, or sometimes it's called blue-green algae or blue-green slime algae. It's not actually algae, it's not even really a plant. It is sort of a hybrid between a plant and a bacteria, so it is cyanobacteria. At any rate, time to get in there and do something about it. I'm not going to mess with the filter or anything like that. This is just meant to be a quick before and after. If anything interesting or exciting crops up while I'm working on in there, I will let you know. Otherwise, here's your before. There's your after. So I didn't wait really long. I just kind of got finished about 15 or 20 minutes ago. I let the tank settle down a little bit before shooting this video. I usually like to give it long enough for all the bubbles to get off everything and the little bits of detritus and everything to settle down. But it's getting late in the evening and I wanted to get this video finished up tonight rather than do the follow-up in the morning. So you're just going to have to deal with a little bit of, very post-water change mess going on. However, I did more than I intended. I got in there and I removed some of the plants. You can see this plant here, this temple plant up front. You'll notice this branch off to the left, right there in the center of your screen, has some roots growing off of it. There was a big cluster of roots and a long branch that went all the way up to the surface, so I removed that, and that is now in my 125, which I'm probably going to regret because it did have that green cyanobacteria on it. And no matter how much you spray that with hydrogen peroxide, you're not going to get it off of there. If you spray a plant with hydrogen peroxide enough to kill the cyanobacteria, you also destroy all the cells of the plant and you kill the plant. So I wiped it down manually as clean as I could, and I put it in that tank in hopes that it will, as the plecos in there scour over the leaves, it'll just keep on top of it and we'll never have a big outbreak in that tank. But that's another reason why I have this green cyanobacteria in pretty much most of my tanks. People often ask, why I have it in so many of my tanks, and this is why. I swap plants around, I use the same equipment to do water changes. This stuff's not hard to transfer from one tank to another, and therefore I've just kind of always had it since the beginning. I've never really been able to get on top of it. I will say, however, that with everything I did in there, and that includes the filter change, I tested for nitrates and the pH and all that kind of stuff. I wiped all the glass down. I did do a treatment of hydrogen peroxide while the water was really low. That's why you can see all these little bubbles all over the wood. That's from the hydrogen peroxide reacting. I got in there and manually removed a lot of that green slime bacteria and some of the algae. And then, of course, I manually removed all of that green stuff off the glass and everything. And I did all of that in far less time than it took me to listen to ABBA's greatest hits. So that's why I don't worry about it. I can do this kind of tank maintenance and it takes me 30 minutes or less to do all of that work. So for the hassle of getting in there and getting the medication and getting my air stone out and so on and so forth, for me it's usually easier just to deal with it from time to time. I get in there and treat the tank as though I'm cleaning up some algae and doing a little bit of algae control, and everything works out just fine. My nitrates in this tank were ridiculously low. This is one of those tanks I haven't done a water change in quite a while. It does have a fairly small stocking load for my tanks. Hey, we got a little look at my black ghost knifefish darting out at the bottom there. He is still alive. First time I've seen him in a couple of weeks. But he's the biggest bioload in this tank. The rest of these animals are little small fish, and with all of the algae in there and all the plants in there, I guess it's just been taking up the nitrates out of the water. So I was surprised to see the nitrates were under 10 parts per million, despite this being one of my less frequently water changed tanks. So I've been thinking a lot about nitrates again, and I'm going to be shooting a video here in the very near future. If you followed my videos for any length of time, you'll know that I used to discuss nitrates a lot more frequently. I was fascinated by them for a while. I was very puzzled by them because you get a lot of conflicting information in the aquarium hobby about them. And I am going to shoot a very in-depth video about everything I can think of, about everything I've learned about nitrates over my experience. It's probably going to be a little controversial. It always is. Every time I talk about nitrates, I always get somebody that wants to argue with me, and that's just fine. I've learned quite a lot through my arguments with other people. So if you're interested in nitrates and you're interested in their effect on your animals and your aquarium and even on yourself and your pets, because we consume nitrates too, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you stick around, and you don't want to miss that video because it's going to be coming up pretty soon, and it's going to be a good one if you're interested in nitrates. So thanks for watching this one. Just a simple before and after, nothing special. Thanks again. Don't forget, this is my black ghost knifefish tank. Hopefully I'll see you real soon on that nitrate video.